Now it's time for New Age Gamer, where we will today talk about, or say the same day, but point is, today we're talking about Madcatz GameStop Gamecube controller. Now, this controller we bought as originally as a third controller, and it's a wireless controller, obviously. Let's get into futuristic view for the GameCube. Now, in order to use the wireless, you have to use this. It's like an infrared transmitter. You have to have a direct line of sight. It's not like the 360 and that you can be in a different room. You need to have a complete... They can be pretty far apart, though. I've used this from pretty far away, but it still needs to have has to have a link. Now, this part plugs into the GameCube, like so. Ouch. Like that. This doesn't matter really where it hangs, but it doesn't really matter where it goes. But the point is, as long as it's there, it can read the signal. Should probably put the memory card. Just good practice, keep your memory card in there. Now, this controller, now let's get to the actual controller itself. I'm not sure if I like this controller, actually. Because I've been such a big fan of the original GameCube controller. Its design, its way that fits in your hand, the buttons, the button layout. Now, this thing, it's obviously smaller. Right next to a GameCube controller. It's a bit smaller. You can't notice it, but I guess you can sort of notice, but this is a lot smaller, especially when you hold it. It feels smaller, kind of feels about the same weight, but this is not not the as high build quality as this thing. This thing, really high build quality. This thing, not so much. I do like these rubber pads here, because when you're playing a lot of Legend of Zelda, your palms may get sweaty when you're fighting a boss, and this really keeps your palms from getting that sweaty. It helps you hold on to the controller when you don't have to, yeah, and then like you actually, no, I dropped it. This thing prevents that. But only the other parts of the controller are that good. I like the see-through design. I like to see inside my controllers and everything else I use. I like opening up everything. This thing takes away the URs open up because I can always see through it. Yeah, sort of. Now this thing, it's a really bad idea for a analog joystick because look, this thing has ridges. This thing is not going to fall out of your hand. You can be on here for hours and just doing this bubble. It's not going to come out. This thing slipped off, kind of wiggles. This is not me actually moving it. This is just like a bad placement in there. And the rubber on this is kind of ripping off. The D-pad just doesn't... feels like it's just one button. And then I don't know how that's bad, but just I don't like it. The start button's in a pretty bad position because the normal the GameCube controller has it here. It's like between these two things. You just gotta push in. On and off switch for the wireless setting on here. And it does take batteries, 2 AAA. And does not really use them up very fast. The 360 uses up the batteries really fast, but this thing takes a long time before. I think I've replaced these batteries once in like maybe 3 or 5 years. Actually, it's 4 years because we bought this after we had the GameCube for 1 year. The buttons are actually not that bad. I do like these buttons. They, like, you press and it's almost like a clicky, responsive effect. The triggers don't have this. I don't like the triggers as much though, because I like the GameCube triggers where you have the kind of clicks, so then you know it's locked into place. Yuck. This thing doesn't really have that. I hear it, but just doesn't feel like it put that as much work in that part. And you know what? This was not that expensive too. It was maybe $15 to $20, and it's wireless. You see over there, it's wireless. Knows where it's sending signals. Not really, but it's a wireless controller, and if you really want a wireless controller for a GameCube, I think there's others, but this one's pretty cheap, and it's not a bad controller at any means. It's a very good controller. It's just could have put a little more work. I just don't like this analog stick. I hate this thing. It's about the same resistance on it, but I just don't like it. The analog stick here. This one is the plastic's ripping off. Actually, that's rubber. Buttons, I do like these buttons, but I don't like how small the controller is, and the buttons feel a little more crowded. This is GameStop. I actually don't like GameStop. For some reason, GameStop makes me feel bad whenever I go there. I think it's the fact that they just like take over small game stores and like they sell Genesis games and just like starts selling new age games that no one really cares about now. Or actually, everyone cares besides me. Because I wish I could find Genesis games. So I'm looking all over the web, all over New Jersey, because I live in New Jersey, and I can't find a Genesis game store or any old game store. They're all in New York. I don't want to go there. No offense to New Yorkers. Actually, maybe offense. I don't know. It says 2.4 gigahertz wireless, whatever that means. If you know what that means, just leave a comment, because I don't know what it means. Something about wireless connection, but I thought this was infrared, not, pretty sure this was infrared. I have no idea how this thing works. I still prefer this thing. It's give you a lot of wire, but it's, the wire's very good, but if you really need a controller that's wireless, get this one. It's not a bad controller, just get them better. One problem I do find with this controller is when you start up the game, sometimes your character keeps moving one direction. I've had that once or twice with the Gamecube, the original Gamecube, but it happens like almost every time I start up the game with this one. I have to reset the game a lot. So, I think it's because of this wiggly. The reason it's doing that is because you can see in the bottom, it's not, see, this is me moving it, and this is me not, it's not actually moving the, I don't know what to say, this is just like a very loose fit. Loose fit is what the word I was looking for. This one doesn't have that problem. I think this D-pad's better too. This one just feels like one big button, which isn't bad, but just doesn't feel like I think they put a ball bearing in here so it goes around it, because I know the Genesis controller has a ball bearing in it because I opened it up, but this one has weird screws. So that's this controller. It works on the Gamecube, unlike this thing, the SD Media Launcher, which doesn't yet. I'm just going to bring this into every review. Show you to be careful about this thing. Actually, the camera's getting good quality video now. Sort of. Now, this thing is not part of this review, so get out of here. This thing is a good controller. You should get it. And it's only 15 bucks. I don't think you'll be able to find this controller, though. Because when they find that the Gamecube was the big thing, and, you know, I'm not sure if you can find this one. I think what's the model number? It doesn't have a model number. It's made by Madcatz. See, it says Madcatz Inc. But it says GameStop. I don't know what that means, but it means something. This one says Nintendo GameCube, and that just beats everyone because it says GameCube. Once something says GameCube, everyone else is bow down to it. I am not worthy. I am not worthy. See, just kicks ass. So, but if you need this, if you really know why the controller, here is the one for you. I need to start shortening my reviews, but there, and yeah, bye.